We're live, YouTube. I think we're live. It's not telling me we're live yet, but I think we are. And by the way, I'm not trying to sound all gruff. I just sound funny right now. And that's part of why I'll probably keep the stream relatively short. Yeah, I got this super deep voice right now. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're live. So welcome, everybody. I'm thinking that when I'm able, I don't know, I'm actually only like barely able today. We'll see how long I keep this going, my voice the way it is. But when I'm able, I'm probably going to stream every Monday, because the way my content creation schedule works is basically I produce videos Monday through Friday, but I release them the following day. And so that leaves Monday as kind of a vacancy where I'm getting content out every single day except Monday and Sunday. But if I stream on Monday and then clip it and make it into a video, then that means I'll have content 6 days a week. So unless I'm like completely dead or and don't have anything to talk about, start counting on a stream coming through every Monday. So welcome everybody who's showed up so far. Let me know how ridiculous my voice sounds. And I'll talk a little bit about why things are this way to start off. So you may remember that like a whole week ago, I was already complaining about having a sore throat. I think this began like last Monday or Tuesday. And thankfully that the throat is no longer sore. But I eventually figured out what was going on with me. Is there's a wonderful illness that you catch from children. And yeah, dude, having 3 kids is interesting sometimes. The name of this illness sounds so bad. And it is bad, but not in that way. So it's called herpangina. And if I wasn't going to do content today, I was going to do a whole post doing a bunch of in before all the jokes, right? Because yes, it is very similar to the herpes virus. In children, it causes sores all over your mouth and face region. And in adults, it causes sores inside your throat. Now, for the last 3 days, I couldn't swallow. Like I could, but it was so painful. It was crazy. I dreaded swallowing. This started to make me go kind of insane, actually. Like it started making me lose my mind a little bit, like full on panic mode, because I dreaded swallowing. And I was making so much saliva. So I had to have like an old-timey spittoon, basically, where I was spitting all this out. Oh man, it was awful. So I still sound kind of off. Like not as bad. Like I was thinking yesterday there was just no chance. There was just no way I was even going to make it to do any kind of content today. Yeah, I'm probably going to keep it pretty simple today. Not go too long. But there is a topic that I really want to talk about. So I'll wait for some more people to filter in here. It probably won't be that popular of a topic anyway, but this is something that, you know, like, if you guys know me at all, I just kind of talk about what I want to talk about. And sometimes that's on a really popular topic that gets people going. Sometimes it's not. I'm just gonna check the audio here really quick to make sure like I don't sound like incomprehensible. Yeah, actually, I think it's the filters on my mic that are making this sound better. I sound a lot better on this stream than I actually do to my own ears. So that's the power of technology, everybody. Yeah, anyway, thank you all for being here. Not sure why nobody's chatting. Someone say hi. I know y'all are here. Someone say something. And then we'll get into today's rant. I will show off some of my build that I've been cooking up. Not on this character, on my Templar. And I mean, if the stream is not that big, like, I mean, my last stream was my biggest stream ever. And if this one is not that big, I might actually have a chance to get into some actual gameplay. Recently, my streams have been so popular that I really only had time to just respond to what people are saying. Hey guys, thanks for chiming in. Everyone's all silent. I thought I might have turned the chat off or something. I didn't know what was going on. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome Nikki, welcome Omni. Slave, I am on PS5. Though because I'm a member of the Super Elite, the extremely hardcore Super Elite, it's a PS5 Pro. Which, I mean, it's good. I mean, it looks about... I remember when I was playing PS5 in like 2017, and my friend convinced me to switch over to PC from PS4, and this is about what I remember ESO looking like on a really high-end PC in like 2017. So, you know, on console, you're not going to get the same kind of capacity for amazing graphics that you can on PC, but I'm pretty satisfied with the Pro. Hey, George. Hey, Cloud. Looks like you became a member. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining the Spopes fam. I'm impressed by how many members we have now. I mean, like just a few months ago, we were sitting at like, I don't know, 5, 6 members. And now I've got dozens. Like not in the hundreds yet, but we're getting there. Like I can see, like in so many ways, I can really see the trajectory here. And it's an honest vocation, you know. While everyone's just like, you know, doing Somali daycares, investing in AI, and you know, still doing cryptocurrency and stuff. Like, I don't know. I've never been about that. I never wanted to go into any debt, and the only debt we have is the mortgage on the house, right? And I did, you know, finance the car, but we paid it off in 3 years instead of 5. Like, I just had this instinct about debt and usury, and I have the same instinct. I think it comes from my Buddhist background of like the, you know, the 8 noble truths, the eightfold path. You know, you're supposed to subsist in a moral way, and there's a bit of like a gray area when it comes to how moral it is to subsist off advertisement. You know, I'm not so sure about that, and I'm really delving into the sponsorship world now too. I have one sponsor already, Sacred Geometrics. I'm not wearing their drip today, but really amazing high quality apparel. I didn't tag this stream as a paid promotion, so guys, this is not a paid promotion, okay? I'm just mentioning Sacred Geometrics exists. Geometrics with an X at the end. And if you do happen to go there and use the code Spopes15, you might get 15% off. But this is not a paid stream. I didn't mark that when I was making the info on it. So don't report me to YouTube, please. But yeah, Other sponsorships are in the works. I've been contacting different agencies and looking at different platforms you can engage with to get this going. And so there's some kind of moral qualms about it, but less than my last vocation, which was for the last 10 years, basically, I've been selling CBD products online, which there is some merit to that, but it's tangential with THC. And really, I mean, so much of it is the placebo effect and hype. Like, it's really not as effective as some people think, but it's mainly just um, uninformed old people who think CBD is so amazing, and then they get sucked into this. And yeah, so I think I'm gradually progressing up the moral ladder of right livelihood according to Buddhism. But I'm not Buddhist anymore. But this is the same for Christian tradition. Like the one time that Jesus was even remotely violent was when he went to the temple in Jerusalem, and there were money changers there. And what that doesn't just mean, like, it's not like just like a foreign exchange, right? You transfer your pesos into dollars or whatever. Money changers also means like money lenders. Like, this is a place where people were like giving loans and taking interest on it. And he just went fucking berserk. He lost his shit and just completely demolished the place. So yeah, it's usury and wrong livelihood are really against the Christian tradition. Stabby in the Wasteland. You're new to the game and the channel, welcome. You've been playing about 2 months and you love it. You're on PS5. Okay, so let me ask you all who are here. First of all, did you vote in the poll that I put out like 2 days ago? I'll pull it up here in a second. And then if you did or you didn't, also let me know here whether you consider yourself to be a casual ESO player, a semi-casual ESO player, or hardcore. Just sound off with your thoughts on that while I pull up this poll. Okay, there it is. Need my keyboard real quick. Because honestly, these results kind of shocked me. I was not expecting it to be this disparate. I'm going to start recording too, because I'm going to make this part into a video. All right, so here's the poll that really got me thinking about this. I mean, I've been thinking about this for a couple days already because it's interesting as I get bigger as a channel, as I become a bigger voice in the ESO community. I both receive more respect, and also I think people view me less as an actual person and more as a monolith. And so they're less careful about withholding oftentimes pretty intense and brutal criticism, which I can handle. I'm not saying it like it hurts my feelings. I'm going to go cry about it. But there were a few different people who were basically saying, at least partially in response to my latest stream last Monday, that basically I'm just a parasite, that I'm a cancer in the community. I don't provide anything of any real value. And I'm basically just farming the community without helping anybody. And also that I'm not knowledgeable enough to speak on certain subjects because I'm not a hardcore player. But I don't know, these numbers do not lie. Okay, so the poll originally was Would you consider yourself to be a hardcore or casual ESO player? How many hours on average do you play? And I think people got kind of caught up in the whole hours part. Like that was just a way of kind of quantifying what casual or hardcore is. But I know that really in the end, it's how you treat the game, like how much you care. But generally, that is reflected in how many hours you play per day. But you will notice that only one quarter of respondents identified as hardcore. And this is a big poll. I think this is my biggest poll in the history of the channel. I had over 1,000 responses. And before you say this is skewed toward your community, I mean, that may be partially true. But I think there are two things there. One is that my community is a pretty reliable cross section of the community on the whole, because I don't just cover things from a certain lens. I cover news, a lot of that. I make guides. So I make content both for people who are really into the game and really focused on knowing everything that's new, and also people who are brand new to the game. So I feel like my content runs the gamut of the different kinds of players. And then also, two, polls like this, community posts, they aren't just limited to your community. They appear to people who are not subscribers, even people who've never viewed your content before. The algorithm pushes it to basically a random subsection of people who are interested in ESO. So I think a lot of people who commented on this aren't even like followers of the channel, or I think a lot of people who hang on. So I think a lot of people who voted on this are not even like big followers of the channel or anything. A lot of them are, of course, right? But not everyone. And so is this like the most wide reaching poll in the history of gaming? Like, no. But I feel like it's pretty well representative of the overall gestalt of the overall gestalt of people who play ESO. So again, after defending my data there, what we see is exactly one quarter of players are hardcore. 41% identify as purely casual. So basically, a little over a third. And then right about one third identify as semi casual. So if you combine those together, that's 75% of players. 75% of ESO players do not identify as hardcore. But then would you say, and you guys are, you're the connoisseurs of ESO content, right? I mean, I mainly watch like Sam Hyde and Tucker Carlson. Okay. Like I don't watch a lot of ESO content. That's why like some of the criticisms I get where people say I'm stealing other people's content. Like, how would I even be doing that if I don't watch their content? Like, I mean, I think that might be kind of a double-edged sword where sometimes I overlap without meaning to. But no, I'm not stealing it. I don't really watch any of their ESO content. There's one guy that I don't want to pat myself in the back too much, but I helped come up a little bit. ESO Fanor, who's great. I watch his stuff just to support his channel because I like him. He's a good guy. But I don't watch any other ESO content. So let me ask you guys: are 75% of ESO content creators casuals, or do they make casual friendly content? Put another way, is 3/4 of the ESO content out there geared toward casuals? I mean, I already know the answer. The answer is definitely no. The answer is definitely no. I would say it's actually exactly the other way around. I would say that 75% of ESO content out there caters to hardcore players. despite the fact that they make up 25% of the actual player base. So that's pretty skewed, right? And, I've made this argument before and it's been controversial, but I think I've finessed my approach and I'm not so brash and abrasive anymore. I'll make the point again. Um, you aren't what's the word I'm looking for? Your voice isn't taken away because you're a casual player. Your right to have representation does not disappear because you're not purely hardcore. That's not true. I mean, I think it has less than many other games, but there's a lot of gatekeeping in ESO. Partially in the game, like people being rude when you aren't doing well in a dungeon or a trial or whatever, people dunking on you in PvP, not trying to help, just being mean. I think there's some of that in the actual game, but I think the majority of gatekeeping in ESO happens in the community at large. So on the forums, on YouTube, on Reddit, people being people being really toxic and elitist and pushing against new players or casual players experiencing the game. So my argument is this again, that casual players have just as much of a casual players have just as much of a right to representation in ESO as hardcore players. And actually, if the results of this poll mean anything, they have more of a right to representation because there are more of them. The hardcore community makes up a much smaller segment of the player base. They essentially hoard the player hours. They are logged in the most, they play the most, but in terms of the number of actual individuals, they are fewer. There are far fewer of them. And so with me, I'm not Zoss. My bottom line is not impacted whatsoever by how many hours players spend in the game. I'll be honest and crass. My bottom line is affected by how many individual people consume my content and to what degree. So Zoss indirectly gets paid for, say, how many times a hardcore sweaty player does the same trial over and over again. Their incentive is to keep you in the game. But for me, my incentive is reaching a wide audience. That's what's important to my bottom line. And so with that being the case, why would I cater to only a very small group of people? Especially given the fact that hardcore players are already so well represented. I think most of the content creators out there, even my buddy Feanor, they're like hardcore players of the game. They get really, really deep into it. They do all the trials. They go and they play night market for like 12 hours a day. Even if they don't have a lot of time to play because they're making content or they have like a day job, content creators are generally really hardcore players. I'm gonna switch back to the game now. We've looked at the poll long enough. I have trouble finding, maybe you guys can tell me, but I'm not aware of like any prominent content creator in the game who is actually casual, who actually represents casuals. I think I'm like the only one. And guys, it's crazy for me to think about this, but by certain metrics, I'm basically like in the top 10 ESO content creators now. I'm not trying to flex. Like, my subscriber base is small. My views aren't as big as some creators yet, but I consistently produce content on a weekly basis while most of the big names have backed off considerably. And I have 1,000%ed my audience, my revenue, all my key metrics over the last 12 months. So I'm what you call a rising star in the ESO community. I'm not just saying that to toot my own horn. I don't really get much satisfaction out of that or anything. But what I'm trying to say is this makes me a reasonably important and, you know, meaningful, listened to voice within the community. I feel like it's incumbent upon me to use that voice to represent casual players, new players, etc. I mean, it's interesting to me that I've had this degree of growth with the perspective I have. I think that part of it is I'm just good at organizing ideas. While I think most of the content creators out there who are more focused on casual friendly content, they don't get big because they aren't really that good at presenting information. I'm a pretty controversial figure. I'm religious. I say things like I'm saying right now, you know. I'm going to say some more controversial things as we get going. Don't worry. It's going to get more controversial from here. But I think in the end, the reason I have gained the kind of growth that I have, and I'm continuing to, is because I'm good at presenting information and I'm genuine. I'm not afraid to say what I really think. So one of the things I think, and here we go. Watch all the unsubscribes start rolling in. All the hate start rolling in. I've got a buddy here. I got a buddy checking out my casual vibes. Oh, wait, I got logged out. No. Oh, my friend. I had to get back to my friend here real quick. And then I'll get into my ultra controversial statement. But I'm going to be out of my chair. This is going to be painful. I'm going to have to get back in my chair. This person's going to think I logged out because they came and checked me out. Not true, bro. Not true. I just have been sitting here talking. Oh, they're gone. Or they're in a different instance. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, well, whatever. Okay. So here's also what I have to say about hardcore players. And I'm going to be reasonable about this. I'm going to be utterly reasonable about this. So there are some exceptions to this rule. Like, say you're retired, your kids are all at the house, you don't have any grandkids, you're not the kind of person who gets out and does much. It's okay to be a hardcore gamer. I'm going to say, though, that in some cases, it's not okay. Like, it's not healthy. It's not right. It's morally and spiritually wrong, but we'll get to that. Another exception is if you're disabled. Like, if you have a legitimate medical condition that's debilitating, making it so you can't interact with life in the normative way. I'm not talking about just being depressed. I'm not talking about having autism. I'm talking about not being able to walk. I'm talking about having, what's it called? The neurodegenerative thing, like MLS? Is that what it's called? Like, I'm talking about like you're spazzing out like Stephen Hawking over here, right? Man, like it's sure, just sit and play video games 8 to 12 hours a day. What are you going to do? And there's one other exception, which is when you're new to a game and you're in love with it, you're in the honeymoon period, and you're just getting to know everything and experiencing everything. Sure. I mean, I go hardcore with new games. Definitely. But for me, going hardcore is like playing video games about 2 hours a day. And I'll be honest with you about my personal experience. I used to play video games in general, like sometimes 4 to 6 hours a day, like in my early 20s. And you know why? Because I was smoking a hell of a lot of weed. And it just kind of glued me to the couch. And also, I was mentally ill and avoiding my problems in life. But I was a young, healthy male with a wife, with a growing family. It was not right of me to be doing that. And my life was essentially destroyed by the weed and the video games. I'm just going to be honest with you. There simply are not enough hours in the day to play video games for more than 4 hours every single day and still attend properly to the requirements of normal life. So you're disabled, you're retired, you're new to the game, you just want to check it out. Like, fine, right? But I'm saying consistently over the period of like years where you are a young, healthy adult man or woman, whether you have kids or not. Because if you do, if you're married and you have children, you need to be attending to those concerns in your life. You just have to. That's your moral obligation before society, before God. Do right to your own soul. You're going to ruin your life otherwise. And if you don't, but you're like reasonably attractive, you're not deformed, you're not 4'6", you're not like doomed to be an incel for life. You need to be out there finding the love of your life and having children with them. That's, people forget. That's the prerogative of life is reproduction. Like whether you're looking at it from a Darwinist or a biblical sense, like two completely opposite spectrums, they both say reproduce, multiply, whether you're materialist, spiritual, whatever. So there are some excuses for being a hardcore gamer. Like, absolutely. You may not be able to interface with life, but I think in so many cases, there are people who can and should be interfacing with life in a normative capacity, who simply choose not to, so they can escape into the world of video games hardcore for 6, 8, 10, somehow even 12 hours a day. Like, how do you ever go outside? Do you eat? I'm not saying you're damned or I hate you. I'm just saying I can't personally condone that because my beliefs tell me that is unhealthy. It's unhealthy for you. It's unhealthy for society. It's wrong. But let me say again, these are my personal beliefs. I often speak in a way that's kind of matter of fact, like I'm saying these are the facts of the world. So I'm gonna be really careful here and say these are my personal beliefs. If you want someone who views things differently, there are tons of other content creators out there who live, embrace, condone, support the hardcore lifestyle. I've just personally seen how it has messed up my life, how it has messed up other people's lives, and how honestly, there's so much more joy to get out of games when you don't overdo it. It's like anything else in life, like overeating, over exercising, doing anything too much desensitizes you to it. So you don't get the joy out of it anymore. So you're really not having a good time. I think a lot of people who are hardcore players of ESO just rush through the game without ever really just stopping and reflecting on how beautiful it is. For me, that's what's really amazing about video games is their visual beauty and the beauty of the sound as well. Like I'll put my headphones on here for a second. Like just that ambient sound is so enjoyable. I think a lot of people they don't enjoy it. They don't get a chance to enjoy it. They're just rushing through, just doing their daily grind. They're not having fun. Like it's the same way with weed, right? I think there are some people who are able to really enjoy weed, but you know, at a dose of like 25 milligrams THC per day. Your neurology gets desensitized at a certain point. You're just not designed to do anything that much, except maybe like hunter gathering out in nature, like just vibing out in the woods. Like maybe you're designed to do that to that degree. Well, I'll just say in my personal experience, I get more enjoyment out of everything I do when I do it in moderation. And for some people, they legitimately have an excuse, right? They can't do anything else. They're 4'6" deformed incels who literally can't and probably shouldn't reproduce, right? But as a content creator who already orients himself more toward the casual community because that's just kind of who I am too. There's absolutely no way I'm going to pivot to cater to the hardcore community when, first of all, they make up a very overall small subset of the community. Very vocal, but small. And also, when I feel like that's tantamount to me empowering people to go shoot up heroin. Right? It's like if I became one of those people giving out needles in big cities. Right? It's just not. It's morally wrong to me. So again, I'll just say this one more time. This is just the way I personally feel about it. I'm not God. I can't judge you. I'm not judging you. I'm just sharing my personal thoughts on this and how, again, the poll numbers don't lie. Go back to the poll really quick. By catering to the casual base, I am giving a voice to the vast majority of the community who are severely underrepresented by content creators. Content creators, it seems, just kind of assume that everyone is super, super hardcore. They just assume everyone who plays ESO is hardcore and they make their content to match. And that's why I made this poll, is to figure it out. And I would have felt differently. I would have had a different perspective on this if the numbers had come out differently. I mean, 1,000 plus people responded to this. Only 25% say they're hardcore. And I saw in the chat a while back someone saying they might be lying. They could say, "Oh, I'm hardcore, but I'm not." I mean, that goes for all the different responses, right? But we don't really know. I mean, it could be a little bit higher, it could be lower. It could be only 1/5 or 1/6 of the community is actually hardcore. So this is all to say that casuals deserve a voice in ESO. And I'm going to be that voice. You can call me a parasite, you can call me a cancer in the community, because I don't get every single little nitpicky thing right. I don't do the PTS. I'm not in there blasting Trials or Cyrodiil 6 to 12 hours a day, right? That's fine. You guys are entitled to your opinions too. But in this stream, in this video, I'm just trying to represent my perspective, what I feel like it's grounded in. Where, again, personally, my perspective is I feel like playing the game casually is the best. Playing the game casually is the best way to enjoy it. It's the safest and most morally upright way to enjoy the game. Again, that's just my personal opinion, but I'm going to craft my content along the lines of my personal convictions. And for those who really severely disagree with that, again, I think basically every other prominent ESO creator is hardcore friendly. So, you know, it's not going to kill either of us just to part ways. But I'm not going to compromise who I am just to retain a certain group of people who, by the way, out of the entire community, are the most toxic, most mentally ill. And I'm not saying every single hardcore player is like that. That's not true. But there is a huge overlap in the Venn diagram. Can I do a Venn diagram here? Like, how do you do a Venn diagram with your hands? There's a huge overlap in the Venn diagram of toxic ESO players and hardcore ESO players. Just a fact. So when people who are more casual about the game are friendlier, more interesting, because they actually have lives. Like, there's this guy who plays ESO. I just saw him in the comments. I kind of looked at his channel, and he mainly just goes and rides around motorcycles. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You have a life. You do things. Nice, man. And playing video games doesn't mean you don't have to. Playing video games doesn't mean you can't have a life. It doesn't. But if you're literally spending your entire day, every single day playing video games, like, yeah, you can't have a life. And probably, more likely than not, someone who loves you, maybe multiple people, are suffering greatly because of the choices you're making. So for me, I'm casual. I play the game casually. I'm not ashamed of that. I don't think I'm stupid because of that, or I don't have the right to have a voice because of that. But that's what casual players are told all the time by the toxic hardcore community. And so I'm going to represent those people so they keep enjoying the game, so they don't feel like they're being pushed out, so they don't feel like they don't have a voice. I'm not going to become like some casual advocate. I'm not going to put some kind of bumper sticker on my car. You know what I mean? I'm not going to start a foundation or anything, right, guys? But I'm just going to keep being me so that people who do enjoy the game on a casual basis will feel represented. And that's what I had to say about that. So we're stopping the recording. There will be an edited version of that coming out tomorrow for those who, you know, don't watch the stream. And now let's catch up with the chat. And I'll do some gameplay here. I want to show off my new Templar build that I've been cooking up. All right, we got a ways back here. People are just elitist omnishambles. I mean, yeah, it's a general tendency in human behavior to try to position yourself like you're a member of some elite group above and beyond the masses of normies. We all suffer from it. But is it worth throwing your life away into a virtual world just so you feel like you're better than other people in that virtual world? I mean, I think obviously my answer is no. Daniel Brunskard, you're deep into it. 2 to 4 hours a day, the lore, the fantasy setting, magic and sorcery, the game got it all. But if I remember correctly, you're a relatively new player, right? Daniel, I've seen you around before. And that's totally normal. I remember when I first really got hardcore into ESO, like I'd played it off and on from 2015. But the first time I really got super into it, I was smoking weed at the time, which I do think is a contributing factor. But I'd often play up to 4 hours a day. And it was not a particularly healthy choice, but I think that is possible. I think you can play video games up to 4 hours per day and not completely neglect the rest of your life. But I will say that probably for the rest of your life to be running in an optimized way, the maximum is around 2 hours a day. We should all just lay back and play and not constantly be on call to the people who have demands from us in our lives. Like, we need our own personal time and space, but it doesn't really need to amount to that much. Take an hour in the morning, right? Take an hour in the evening when you're winding down before bed. Take 2 or 3 hours, right? Sure. Why not? It's good for you. If this is your hobby, like if you're into fucking crossbows or something, like go work on your crossbow in the garage. And this is not just video games. I'm talking about, like, there are dudes who will just go in their garage the entire time they're home from work and just work on their fucking motorcycles or something. Anything can be like this. I should have mentioned that earlier in the recording. Anything can be like this. Like going and looking at trees. Like, you know, a bunch of trees here in Alinor. Like, if you're into birding too much, like if you're spending so much time looking at birds, you're never home, you're never with your family, that's just as much of a problem. Okay, it's not just video games. It's I'm talking about like anything where you're neglecting the necessities of life, like especially if you're in the prime of your life and you have a wife and children, or a husband and children. Women do play video games. I forget this, but they do exist. Women exist. They drive cars sometimes too. I've noticed this. If you're neglecting the real love in your life, enough said. And I did want to make a comment here about, like, okay, so what if we're a husband and wife? What if we're a mother and father of young children and we play ESO together? Like, okay, that's great for your bonding time and for your marriage probably. But what are the kids doing? They're just watching fucking SpongeBob this whole time? What are they doing? Are they with grandma? Like, okay, like, you know, you drop the kids off with the grandparents. They have a great time hanging out with grandma and grandpa for a couple hours. Will you guys have a date evening and play ESO together? Sure, fine. But I'll always remember that this sensationalized story out of South Korea from like 10, 15 years ago. Or it was this couple playing like Maple Story or something, right? And they literally let their baby starve in the internet cafe because they were playing video games like 12 hours a day. It can happen. It literally can happen. Not saying it happens a lot, but that's an extreme example of neglect. Neglect happens in other ways too. That like often, you know, you just aren't attuned enough as a parent to even see. It takes a long time, especially for younger parents, to figure it out. If you didn't have good parents yourself, if you didn't have good examples, you think, okay, you know, you can take care of kids a certain way, but they need more than that. There's a trend, you know, with younger parents these days, like Gen Z, basically treat their kids like pets, like their dogs or cats. Like just kind of do the bare minimum, taking care of them. They put food in their bowls every day. They brush them occasionally, but they aren't engaged in their lives. I think this really started with the boomers. It got worse with Gen X. Millennials kind of pushed the needle back a little bit because they were reasonably capable. They grew up in an era like predominantly pre 9/11, at least for the beginning, like most formative years of their lives. Like, dude, I remember clearly the way this country was before 9/11. Holy shit. I mean, things have changed. It's kind of hard. I'm one of these old ass boomers now crying about how California used to be conservative and, you know, you could just go to the beach and ride your surfboard all day. Yuba dooba doober. I mean, it was a different world, man. And then you have these Zoomers who they didn't know anything except America being at war and being controlled by Israel. And I'm not saying America wasn't controlled by Israel when I was a kid, but it wasn't like so overt and in your face. Israel has been in control of the country since JFK was killed, but it wasn't like in your face, your country is being bled dry right in front of you. But and now parenting has just completely fallen apart, like with Gen Z and then with Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha, they can't read. They don't know how to read. You're aware of this? 70%. 70%. I have the statistic here. I have it here. Hang on a second. I was just sharing this with my buddy last night. I deleted it because I don't like to fill up my photo stream, my phone with a bunch of random memes and shit. Here, I'll just look it up again. How many 8th graders are illiterate? Okay. So this AI is coming up with something a little bit different this time. This is basically the same thing I saw. So literally 33% of 8th graders these days, they literally can't read at all. And what I was seeing last night is 70% are not proficient with reading. I'm not talking about Heisenberg. I'm not talking about reading Latin, reading basic English books. They can't do it. So the way I look at it, the next couple generations are pretty screwed. The millennials are pouring all of their love and time into their children. So those children should have good children. And maybe the cycle will reset itself at that point. But yeah, we don't need to be compounding that with neglect. By escaping into video games or, you know, poker night with the guys or whatever it is, right? Okay, back to the chat. Aggressive Duck. There were more casual people years ago, but they're all driven off. There was a guy named Sherman who made content, but he was called names all the time. People are calling me names all the time too. I guess I'm not a fucking pussy. I don't know how to say this. I guess I dealt with all that in school, so I don't know. It's like being inoculated. Yeah, I never heard of anyone named Sherman. But yeah, yeah. So as I'm talking about, the toxic gatekeeping hardcore community that they literally drive content creators out of business. Damn, that's crazy, aggressive duck. Cloud, you found me through people in your guild who are trash talking me because I pray, which I love. So don't stop. We need more people like you out there. That's funny. Like the amount of space I now take up in people's minds rent free. I gotta start charging rent. I mean, this is my real monetization stream for the channel. I need to start charging people rent for the amount of space I take up in their heads. People get so damn triggered by me. It's crazy because, like, I'm pretty much just normal, right? I mean, I'm not like, I'm just an average dude who found Christ later in life, and I'm not preachy about it. I was just talking with someone in the comments recently about, like, I forget what it's called, but it's like when you basically show, don't tell. Like, I'm Christian, but here I'm wearing a Blade shirt. I got a weird mustache and a nice fade. You know, like, I'm not here looking like I'm going to eat your children, knocking down your door to give you a pamphlet. I'm not saying you have to convert. We're going to hell. I'm just a normal ass guy. Just being normal. Having testicles pulsating with testosterone. It just makes people want to off themselves these days. Makes them want to go jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. Makes them want to go OD on Pfizer. That's funny. But that's cool. That's an interesting origin story for the channel, Cloud. I'm glad you joined us and you're a member. That's really great. Thank you for supporting me that way. But isn't that funny? It's the Streisand effect, right? You know, that comes from Barbara Streisand said, "Stop photographing my house." And so people just started doing it more because they're like, "Oh, you have a house? I'm going to take a picture of that." And so, like, people going out there and dissing me is then free advertisement. It brings people to my channel. Y'all are doing a great job bringing me down by sending more people to my channel that would have heard about me otherwise. Keep it up. Keep up the trash talking. It doesn't bother me. I find it hilarious. And it helps my channel. How about that? Some other YouTubers keep a balance of casual and hardcore endgame type of content. I mean, I'd say I do that too, Machine Gun. Like, I cover a whole lot of stuff on the night market, and that's not like casual. You know, like, and that's why, like, ultimately the nomenclature is a little bit deceptive because there is no real such thing as casual or hardcore. You can be a casual player who plays in a hardcore way. You can play like 1 or 2 hours a week, but still like be good enough to go do the night market. I think a big difference, a big factor in this difference is whether or not you consume content. Because if you do, I mean, you can come up with a build. To come up with a build on your own takes often years of trial and error. But it can take a 10-minute YouTube video, right? So people get boosted by consuming content. It's like the secret ingredient here. So yeah, I mean, I cover hardcore stuff. I run the gamut, but I come at it from a casual perspective, and I am a casual. I think that's what triggers people. Hack, Alcast, and Ghost have all moved on to other games. Well, Hack still does a lot. He still does probably 70 to 80% ESO content, and his videos on other games do not do well, generally. I do keep track of him because he's kind of the biggest name, and I try to kind of emulate him in some ways, though not in the quality. I know a lot of people really dislike the quality of his content. Outcast is out getting his PhD or something, right, guys? Like, he's taking a break because he's doing IRL stuff, like the ultimate casual move. I don't know who Ghost is. Never heard of him. George Thakur, you understand what I'm saying when I talk? Channels assume you already know what they're talking about. This is the only one I stuck with. Okay. Good feedback, man. I think that comes from my days as a content creator. All right, sorry, as a content writer, where you do something called the pyramid method, where you start with the most important information and then you widen the angle as you go down to cover a more diverse array of information. So I start with a hook, but then I provide literally, as far as I can grasp it, all the information you need on a certain topic. And if that video is not going to cover that topic, I link other videos I've made that go into more detail, right? I had to learn how to be comprehensible. There's something, it's called the something score, where there's like this tool online where you can feed your written content into, and it tells you how comprehensible it is, like at like a grade level. And the goal is to get it down to like 8th to 10th grade level. And it took me years to really get that down correctly. I was talking to people like they were PhD students, right? But I mean, I spent 10 years as a content writer. So I think it's shaped the way I think. So now I also talk, even though I'm not writing, I talk in the same way that I used to write. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, we got someone else here now. Okay, here we go. Ramen, you say ESO is the most casual MMO? There's not as much FOMO? I mean, yeah, that's kind of the funny thing about ESO. It is, except maybe OSRS, right? It's like the most casual MMO there is. So I've thought this way since I really got into understanding the community and the way they think. Like, why would there even be gatekeeping in a game like this? Why would there even be hardcore players gatekeeping in a game like ESO? Right? Like, it's inherently, no, there's one MMO that's more casual than this, and that's Lord of the Rings Online. But nobody plays it. I mean, it's looks like a lot of fun. I have a buddy who's been playing it and send me screenshots and stuff. I want to see if I can jury rig it on my iMac here because it looks great. But like, that's like the one MMO I can think of that's more casual than ESO. And Wave of the Forest Hand, you just segued into like what I was gonna say next about this. The game is old enough, most of us are dirty casuals, because even if you were young when this game started, enough time has passed that life has bit you in the butt. I mean, yeah, right? You got it. We grew up with ESO. I was like, what, like 23 when I first started playing ESO? 24? Somewhere around there? I was still a kid, man. And also, just the concept of the game being old. Like, dude, I can get me like hardcore into Arc Raiders or Marathon. Or even like if you like terrible games like Starfield. These are like brand new games. Or Crimson Desert, right? Like people are cracking the code with it. ESO is 12 years old, man. Like, why would you even be a gatekeeping elitist? Then you might say, like, okay, but WoW is 20 something years old, right? But they're totally different games where there's a lot more to gatekeep in WoW. Random rolls, FOMO, mythic raids, and whatever. Like, the games are very different. Gatekeeping is just kind of endemic to WoW, but it's really not to ESO. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like it's an old game. It's largely casual and story based. It's just about the aesthetics, the ambiance, roleplay even. It's the wrong place to be getting super hardcore. Yeah, Julie Nelson, I think I did mean ALS back then. Machine gun funk. Don't blame the weed. Well, it doesn't help. If you have a tendency to be a lazy, self-centered jackass, it will certainly empower you to do that. I strongly believe that weed has never actually helped anyone. Not in the long term. The one way it can help you is if life's going by way too fast and you need to just take some time to yourself, it can help you do that. But like to find yourself, right? To find your center. But people then just get stuck in their centers and never go back into the world that they're supposed to be engaged with. And there's also just the fun fact that it completely fucking destroys your neurochemistry. So if we got any weed stands in the chat, like, you guys are in the wrong place. Go check out my side channel, Spopes Speaks. I recently celebrated a year of sobriety from cannabis. My life has never been better. It's like getting rid of some toxic ex. It really is, because there's a feminine spirit in it that replaces your need for feminine companionship, oxytocin, everything. It behaves basically like a succubus. There's a demonic element to marijuana. I was just watching. You guys ever watch those short videos? They're not actually shorts, but they're like videos, like often of British people, where it has like the Oblivion quest text, and these are fucking hilarious. Like Oblivion music in the background. I was watching this one, this guy who was accusing a dude in a car of smoking marijuana, something like that, right? He was saying it really, really wrong. But yeah, it's not good. It's not. It's it's a fucking psyop to make you think that it's harmless. You're just being played by Big Daddy CIA and Big Daddy Mossad, so that you don't reach your true potential. Especially when you have a family, it's impossible to game that much. Yeah, exactly, Ramen. Ronnie Mason. And the legend of the rent was way hardcore. Well, you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore. I'm not like a Hollywood guy, but you know, I did really appreciate Jack Black being in the Mario movies that have just been coming out. He plays Bowser so well. It's so good. His voice is so much lower. His voice is like the way my voice is today, because I'm getting over herpangina. But yeah, dude, okay. Excellent role in those movies. Virgil Zero, do I stream on Twitch too? Nope. YouTube only. And I don't know. Maybe I'll get into a rant about why later on here. But I rant about Twitch pretty much every stream. Like, I'm kind of getting tired of it. Nope. Hey, welcome, Purge. Omnishambles, you're saying I judge myself. How so? When was I judging myself? I might have been. I might have been. I'm curious what you mean. Richard, yeah, the poll was like based on how many hours you're on ESO per day. So man, if you're playing ESO for 4+ hours a day and playing other games on top of that, like, God help you, man. Anthony Cherubin. Games are made to be enjoyed. Anything that is overdone makes you not enjoy it as much. Absolutely. 100%. If you overdo anything, it ruins it. Anything. The key to life is moderation. And some things that shouldn't be done at all. And you should be doing some things that you aren't. But yeah, generally the key to life is moderation. Rainbow Stay. What about the toxic casual who comes to endgamers expecting a handout? Does that kind of person actually exist? Maybe you can like elaborate a little bit, but like, wouldn't that just be like an inexperienced player asking for help from someone who's more knowledgeable and experienced? And like, can't you also just say no? I guess like people can be demanding, entitled little twits. Like, all right, yeah. But I don't think there are many casuals who are like trying to say that nobody except casuals has a right to a voice. But I hear that all the time from hardcore players. All the time. Machine Gun Funk. Casuals aren't being pushed out. The entire game is a casual experience until you want to have a challenge, which is the end game. I mean, yeah, but there is tons of gatekeeping though. I mean, that's just the fact. Like, there's tons of gatekeeping. There shouldn't be, because you're right about the nature of the game, 100%. But I think a lot of the player base doesn't understand that. Netty Rain used to binge all day because you only had money for 3 months of Essential. You were trying to get as much out of it as you could. How do I say this in a nice way? Like, if you're so broke that you have to binge game, you should be spending the time that you're gaming figuring out your life, right? Like, I feel like gaming is a luxury that comes on top of being successful enough to support your own existence, or having, you know, some means, government aid, handouts from family, like winning the lottery. Like, I'm not saying you have to go work your ass off at McDonald's, like, but if you're forced to binge game because you can only afford a few months of PlayStation Plus Essential, which is like, I know this raised the price, it's like $10 a month, because you can't put together $30. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not dunking on you for being poor. I'm just saying, like, you shouldn't be gaming. I don't think, like, you should be going and applying for food stamps, or like waiting in the unemployment line, or doing job applications, or going and begging grandma for another check or something. Like, that's distressing. Like, just imagining that situation is so distressing to me. Like, your life is so fucked up, you can't like, cobbling together $30 is a problem, and your response is playing video games as much as you possibly can. I get you're saying this is the way things used to be, right? Like, it sounds like you've gotten out of it. I mean, good for you. I'm glad, but like, I've been in some fucked up situations myself. I mean, like I was just saying, like, I was broke. I had a wife and a newborn child, and I just sat and played video games and smoked weed all day with money I money I didn't have, right? I'm not trying to position myself as some snooty, like, morally superior, whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm glad for the people who, when I was in that stage of life, told me it was fucked up and that I need to change. I'm so grateful for that, because it was 100% true. But yeah, man, I mean, that ain't right. That ain't right. Life post 9/11 feels like a bizarre alternative universe. Yeah. Okay, I gotta skip through some of these, because I gotta get back to where people are actually actively chatting. We need a literacy campaign. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we can save. I don't know if we can save the kids. Thanks, Chris Rigby. Glad you've been enjoying the channel. MG Sparkle. No, I gave up at the night market. I had enough fun with it, but then I was done because I didn't really want the reward at 10k favor. So no, I stopped. Dex to Gilkey, you give everyone respect and grace. Believe everyone just play how it's fun for you as a gamer. Are you really having fun if you're playing more than 4 hours a day? I don't know. I don't know. Like, I struggle with this line between not judging and just being some absurd caricature of like a Care Bear. Just, oh, everyone's fine. You know, you want to go genocide a whole group of people? Oh, whatever, man. That's just do you. You want to go be a heroin addict while your baby starves to death? Oh, you know, that's just your life choice, man. You want to go cut your genitals off and you know, pretend you're someone else? Like, oh, you know, empowerment, man. Like, so I try not to be judgmental. I really do, but like, I think the way that I kind of cope with this is I realize my judgments are meaningless. There's only one person who can judge. And I don't think that if you respect your own judgments as being meaningless, they can really be judgments. I think judgment is when you're saying, you are bad. There's something wrong with you because I know better than you and I'm smart. Like that's what I define judgment as. I'd say what I do is like discernment, but that's like personal, right? That's just like the way I look at things. It's not condemnation. It's really more like philosophizing than anything. But I think we do need to hold each other to account. I really do. I think that's just such a boomer mindset of like, you know, I'll just live and let live while we don't support our children and make sure we use up all of our money before we die. Like, Dexa Gilkey, I gotta ask, are you a boomer? Sure, Sako has that golden skin I was trying to get. Yeah, I gave up on the gold skin. I don't like it that much. Chris Rigby, do you have any advice for someone switching their main character? Like what to do first? You're making it all. I do actually have a video out there. Just go to Spopes. Just go to YouTube. I mean, YouTube isn't called Spopes yet. I'm not that popular. Go to YouTube, type Spopes new character checklist. It applies to both like your first character ever, any alts you make. That's the video for you. Alcast does not run ESO Hub. I think he's part of the community. Hey, Nephalium. Hey, Perk. Satan's butthole. Oh, this Cameron Turner guy. This is one of the assholes who called me a parasite. Oh, boy. Okay, and he's in here being all salty. I think he shut up, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, you gotta get banned, bro. This guy is just such a dick. Like, I get disagreeing and everything. That's perfectly fine, but there's a way to do it that doesn't like broadcast that you're mentally ill. You know? And I'm not anybody's babysitter. All right, there we go. Peace out, psycho. Yeah. Coming in with all the insults and everything. Yeesh. Oh, Lucky Ghost. You're talking about Lucky Ghost. Yeah. No, yeah, Lucky Ghost is like probably like my model of a content creator, like the kind of level I'd like to reach. And he covers, yeah, mostly other stuff. He does like a yearly guide on ESO. Yeah, Lucky Ghost is the GOAT. I thought you meant someone named just like Ghost or something. Okay. This Cameron guy's such a little shit. Probably had to hide him from the channel. You try not to label people? ESO needs both casual and hardcore. I mean, did I ever say anything else? Like, I don't think I ever said anything contrary to that. I didn't say like hardcore players are bad or they shouldn't be in the game. No, I mean, I never said anything like that. I don't think that. Yeah, of course. ESO needs both hardcore and casual. Like, what? The hardcore players are like a vibrant cornerstone of the community. Whatever, like my personal feelings on like how much gaming is safe per day. The devs need these people or ESO's dead. They're often the biggest whales too. Like they spend the most money on the game. I'm just saying I'm not going to cater to them necessarily. But I do. I mean, I made a bunch of content in the night market. It's just, I think where this is really coming from is people trying to tell me, like this Cameron asshole here, like people trying to tell me that I don't have the right to have a voice because I'm not hardcore enough. Like I don't know every single little bit out of the PTS because I don't play. I'm just trying to share the information, for fuck's sake, chill out. You know what I mean? Like, sure, like I make mistakes here and there, but like, I'm not trying to brag, but it's like you don't 1000x your stats in 1 year by being a parasite. It's just like the same short-sightedness. People say, like, they say almost in the same breath sometimes, you're a shill for Zos, but you're way too negative about Zos. Stop being so mean to Zos, you Zos glazer. I'm like, what? My head starts spinning, right? You know, like, they just don't. I think like this level of genuine balance that I bring to the table is like just kind of incomprehensible to some people. You know, like it just doesn't. People are used to creators being like cookie cutter and fitting into a certain like easily comprehensible mold, like a pre-shaped mold. Okay, all right, that's the fat guy. That's the, you know, this guy likes anime. You know, whatever. Like, I think I'm just kind of hard for people to suss out. That's all I can really think. Oh, no one. Savage. Okay, I'm gonna read out. Cameron ain't impressed by 60 viewers when his mama got 10,000 on OnlyFans. Oh, rough. Hey, Kwahan. Hey, great question, man. I've been thinking for a while of doing some videos for content creators covering my setup, which is pretty ganky and ghetto, honestly, but it works. It works. Let me just run through it really quick, right? So somehow, like with chewing gum and duct tape, I'm doing all this with a 2022 24-inch iMac. And OBS settings, it only applies to Mac. I'm not gonna go through all my settings here, but you know, I will do some content on this. Thank you for the inspiration. Just a little bit of my equipment. I have the what's it called? Like the Sony ZV-10 version 2 camera. Is that what it's called? That's my camera. That costs a pretty penny, but it's totally worth it. I've got that and my microphone on a couple of Samson boom arms, like the 6-foot variety, I think. They're big old boom arms. They're bigger than what you usually have. And my mic is the Elgato Wave 3. I generally go with Elgato shit. It works the best in my opinion. And I've got 2 capture cards. One for the camera, one for the PS5. And I got the PS5 Pro. And the capture cards are the Elgato 4KX for the Pro, because it does a little bit better with, you know, high data compression, right? And then the 4KS for the camera, because that's really, you don't need as intensive of a capture card for the camera. And that about covers it. In terms of OBS settings, I mean, nothing crazy. I just use the hardware codec. I record and stream at 1080p. I use a VBR for better quality. I mean, I can get into some deep and dirty details on OBS, but I think this isn't really the time and place to do that. Yeah, basically this Elgato stuff. The Sony ZV, I think it's called the ZV-10 Mark II. Great camera. Great camera. I've got that running. I got that connected to the USB-C power source, and I'm running the signal through an HDMI, like what is it called? The HDMI micro, HDMI mini port on there. And for lighting, I've just got this ring light, and I've got like a colored light for like the, what's it called? Like you have like a key light and like a side light or whatever. And I got one bright light up like right here. And I got another light over here. I don't have that light on when I'm sitting over my couch because it glares right in my eyes. But yeah, I wanted to have everything on a boom arm. Look at this guy. So I could like I could move from my desk to my couch and have the same setup. Oh, it's still Crast. I know this guy. I know this guy. Let's say hi. Letting him know I'm on stream. Dex the Gilkey, you're asking what gatekeeping is. It's basically the philosophy, or it's like the behavioral model of when you try to keep people. I'm not saying this right. Dude, what is gatekeeping? Someone else say it. I can't. I need some more coffee, I think. I can't think. Gatekeeping is basically a form of elitism where you try to remove the voice. You try to reduce the legitimacy of voice. You try to reduce the legitimacy of voices coming from people who lack what you perceive to be your level of skill or experience with the game. So it can be as simple as like, you know, you're doing your best in the new tank build, but you're in a veteran dungeon and someone says, dude, do you even know how to tank? Fake tank. And you're like, you're actually doing your best, right? Or like people not being helpful and trying to help you up to their level, but trying to keep you down at the level you're at, or even push you out of the game through toxic elitism. That isn't like really the best definition, I don't think. The rest of y'all chime in with what you think about what gatekeeping is, but it is surprisingly prevalent in ESO. It is. Chris Rigby, you've been off weed for 4 years. You were so unproductive and reliant on it. Mood swings when you didn't have it. I mean, dude, it made me so paranoid. Not like looking out the window and thinking the CIA was there, but literally thinking everyone was against me all the time. Like it turned my natural lack of self-confidence into like a daily nightmare. Made me turn on the people who are closest to me. That was really the worst part. Probably. THC fixed your Asperger's? I don't know, man. But what if you didn't have it now? Right? Is it really fixed? Or are you just self-medicating the symptoms? Happy Hanukkah, smoke your marijuana. Keep your kids inside on Passover, guys. Oh, so Omni, you were saying I was judging myself about my lifestyle. Well, yeah, I feel like if you have no capacity for judgment whatsoever, then you don't have any discernment and you'll never improve either. Like whether it's judging yourself or others. Like I think judgment as condemnation is wrong. Like just saying, oh, I know enough about you as a person to say you're bad or I'm better than you. But I mean, it's probably all just semantics, right? But that's not what I'm thinking of when I think of judgment, right? I'm thinking of more like discernment, I guess. Yeah, I'm still caught up back in the old comments, guys. Sorry. Chris Rigby, people that proper direction will always choose escapism. Gaming is easy to throw your wallet at due to how they draw you in. Yeah. Nice, MG Sparkle. You got the 10th anniversary gold leaf. That's a great die. Dude, Dex to Gilkey, how did I know that you were a boomer? Like, you have a right to life, you have a right to your opinion. But I just knew from the way you were talking and the things you were saying that you were part of the everything's fine as the house burns down generation. And now that everything sucks because y'all let the house burn down, it's time for us to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, which is a literal impossibility. It's a phrase used to describe something that's physically impossible because you can't pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But no, everything was fine while the boomers were in charge, as literally the house burnt down. The whole fucking world burnt down around you guys because of ideologies like that. Like, oh, everyone's fine. You can all just do your own thing. You know, if my kids want to go move to Goa, India and make trance music, I'm going to empower them to do that. Like, oh, my kids are crack addicts now. That's just their life choice. Like, oh, man. Oh, the national debt is spiraling and they killed all of our presidents who were any good. Oh, you know, that's great, man. Let's just go ride our red Schwinn bikes like we did when we were kids and we had to make presents at Christmas because our parents were coping for World War II trauma and we had this booming economy based on taking over the rest of the world and annexing Japan and destroying the Nazi Empire and then taking all their scientists. Like, oh, yeah. Boomers! Oh, God, no. Oh. In Nephalium, you don't judge people, you have opinions. Only because opinions are like assholes. And you're allowed to, yeah, exactly. There's a big difference between judgment and opinion. Absolutely. Damn, Mike. Yeah, I mean, Mike, what you're saying, like, the American dream is still alive for people who have faith and work hard and don't give up. I mean, it's a lot harder than it used to be. Like, the country has really taken a big downhill, but like, it's not impossible. What's the darkest dye I recommend? Yeah, this one I'm wearing. Actually, I'm not wearing it on this character. Hang on. Let's go. Actually, I'll switch characters really quick. I'll show it to you on my Arcanist. Yeah, I'll just show it right here. This is ebon leather. Ah, crap. I'll figure out what it's actually called. But you get it through some of the anniversary achievements from a while back. It's my new favorite black dye. It's better than Cold Harbor Ash Gray, in my opinion. When you got haters, it means you're doing something right. Yeah, I mean, that's the sad facts of it. Yeah, 10-year anniversary ebon leather. That's my new favorite black. And I've just got that on every single channel on this character. It's basically the perfect black dye, in my opinion. It's quite easy to get. Chris Rigby, when you see a build guide... Oh, like saying what the build is actually for? Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. That's something I could focus on more, like saying this is mainly for PvP overland, but it'll probably do well in the Infinite Archive. You know, don't try it in PvP. Yeah, gotcha. Thank you, Quahin. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. The number of times I made a build from videos, realized it's just for trials. Well, for me, I mean, I'm never going to make builds for trials, so that makes it a little bit easier. A good example of gatekeeping is if you only allowed someone with a certain amount of DPS to run in a trial, which again, like the best part of that is it's DPS on a dummy. It's not real DPS, it's DPS, you know, theoretically. Yeah, 4 years clean. Your wife saved you? I mean, dude. Amen. Like me too. It was my wife not giving up on me, and this is me thinking that she was against me, right? But she was really just trying to get me to stop fucking up and live up to my real potential, and that's why I'm here. Yeah, no one. You're right about that cycle. Strong men create easy times create weak men that grow up to create difficult times, and those difficult times bring forth strong men. Yep, it's the cycle as old as man. Thank you, Ordiane. Oh, you're from Ireland, eh? Land of the Green Shamrock. Oh, very much. Okay. I keep losing the chat. I don't know why. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna finish up here, guys. This is getting toward the end of the stream here. But hey, let me show you. I'm a little bit of a sneak peek here of what I'm cooking up. So people been saying, like, you know, I like your Templar build, but the fantasy for me is having like a sword, right? Like an actual warrior. I was like, you know, actually, you know, I feel that way too. And on top of that, when I'm just like taking down trash mobs, I love Stampede, just like flying across the room. And that's what my Templar was lacking. So I made a new Templar build. Cost quite a bit of gold and Took quite a bit of time, but I didn't really have anything else to do while I was sick. And it's some pretty basic stuff. Basically just stampede and jabs. But that gets the job done for this kind of thing. Sometimes you need to jab them a couple times. You can throw down Ritual Retribution to make it a little bit faster. But as always, you know, I try to keep it simple, to the point, nothing too crazy. I do have the beam for when you're just up against, you know, one enemy or bosses or whatever, but it's mainly stamina based. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I haven't even leveled up my two-handed properly yet. Yeah, it's probably not my fastest mob clearing build ever, but it's definitely strong enough. Okay. Okay, we'll all run back together, then we can fight. All I want for Christmas is to march with the boys to Jerusalem with the most holy drip. As long as we can stop at Constantinople along the way, then I'm with you, bro. But you know what? I actually haven't tried this against a world boss yet. Let's go run over to my favorite world boss for testing these things. Oh. And I gotta stop. I'm basically fully recovered, but I'm starting to feel the pain in the throat again. Where is it? It's like right over here. Yeah, that's where it is. No, you guys, you can handle it. You're fine. You don't need my help. The swimming mounts is such a big deal. One of those things that you really just don't like realize how big it is until like a few months after it's been out. So amazing. This one in particular looks so cool underwater. All right, let's test it out.
Rest now.
I'm getting hurt pretty bad. Wasn't expecting that. So is Zareth. Why are we both getting so messed up? Why can't I use my attacks? Wait, what? What's going on here? Alright, time to switch to the beam. That wasn't so bad, but I think I still have some tinkering to do here. I could do better with that. Good experience there. All right, y'all. Do I feel bad for the Necromains? I mean, not anymore. Not with what's coming in U50 with Class Mastery. Necro is going to be insane. If you haven't seen my latest video, go check it out. Unless they nerf it before it comes out. But, I mean, Necros is weird. In general, it doesn't work right. It's just the whole class design and philosophy. I remember, like, thinking that back in, like, 2019. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is not a Necromancer. What is this? So props to Zoss for being creative and original and everything. But, yeah. It's going to be super powerful, though, in U50. Okay. I really got to go, guys. Wife's been the baby to bed. They're back home now. I don't want to keep them up. And also, I should not overdo it. My wife this morning was like, are you sure you want to stream? Like, I was still in, like, livid agony as of yesterday. So, yeah, I should probably take it easy now. I'll edit out my rants, get it edited and made into a video to come out tomorrow. And I have some more topics I want to cover this week. And I'm going to make this and put this build video out once I'm confident that it's good enough. And, yeah, we're going to finish with the prayers always, guys. Lord, thank you for healing me of my illness and making it possible for me to do this stream today. Thank you for setting me up to be a voice for casuals within the community. And thank you for everyone who came out to this less enticing stream today. Like, not as much of a current topic or anything, but thank you for my community and for everyone who came out. Bless them in all ways, Lord. Lord, especially for those brothers and sisters in Christ, draw them closer to you. And also for recently departed souls around the world, Christian or not, sinner or saint. Forgive them, Lord. Bring them to your side. As C.S. Lewis said, hell is locked from the inside. And show those locked inside hell that they can open the way back to you, Lord. Help people let go of their pride and selfishness and see that you are the light and the joy of all creation. And come to you, Lord Jesus. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Lore, why is the Necro so wrong? Yeah. Yeah, that's, I think I was desyncing basically when I was trying to use Stampede there, Purge. You're right. Thanks, Johnny Cash. Thank you, no one. Yeah, Chris, welcome to the stream. Double Stampede and then other abilities, yeah. I generally just do one Stampede these days. But yeah, you can animation cancel by doing that. You're right. All right, guys. I'm gonna go and rest my very excited throat. Man, it was some of the worst agony I've ever experienced, and the psychological toll of just every time you swallowed it hurting, like dreading swallowing. I'm just so grateful it's over. And that was terrible. But yeah, I'm recovered now. I don't want to push it too hard, so I'm gonna get out of here. Make a video out of my earlier rants and get that out tomorrow. So yeah, God bless you all. Thank you for being here. And like I said at the beginning, I'm aiming to do a stream every Monday now. Every Monday, 1:20. You can rely on that. So that's my plan. All right, God bless you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Purge. Thank you, Nephalium. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, no one. I think I said thank you, Purge, already, but thank you, Purge. Yeah. Hey, I'm so glad you found us. No one. Rome apples? I'll have to look into that. All right, see you guys. God bless you. Thank you for being here.